Is trauma running your life? Is it controlling you and it won't let you go? That's what I want to talk about today. I'm going to show you the picture of the mind, where trauma lives in your mind, and how it's controlling your body. So stay tuned. Okay, first we want to draw out the mind. So look at this picture here. It's a very simple picture. I learned this picture from my mentor, Bob Proctor, and he learned it from a chiropractor in San Antonio, Texas. So this is your mind and this is your body, okay? Well, one thing we have to understand is that your mind is not your brain. Your mind is controlling your brain and your central nervous system. What does that mean? It means that your brain and nervous system are in your body and your mind is not your body. Your mind is actually what my mentor called a spiritual activity. It's what you're doing on the spiritual side of yourself. I like to look at it as God's gift to us. And it's our tools that we use, which is our mind, to create things in our life. So when we're talking about our mind, up here, we have our thinking mind, and over down here, we have our emotional mind, okay? Conscious mind, subconscious mind. And why does this matter? It's because this holds 96% of the power, and this only holds about 4% of the power. So what I'm trying to say is, whatever's in our emotional mind, that is what is controlling our life. So when we say that trauma, past trauma is running our life, your trauma is not stronger than your emotional mind. Trauma needs to live somewhere. And where does it live? In your emotional mind. So why does it live there? Because in our emotional mind, this is where long-term memory lives. And our short-term memory lives in our thinking mind. Why was it stored there? Because our mind is there to help us survive. And so when something happens, like an emotional impact, it gets stored into our emotional mind. Now, usually when that happens, it's negative, but sometimes we can have emotional impacts that are positive. But in this case, we're talking about trauma, so trauma is a negative. But remember, we can always find good in a negative, and we can always find negative in a positive. So in this case, let's just take it for what it's worth for in this moment. I'll get into how we can look at the good in the trauma, but for now, let's look at it like this. So here you have this idea that you created in your trauma, and it's making you feel a certain way. And so your mind controls your body, and it makes it move into action, and it creates results. And so in our conscious mind, we have our sensory factors. One of those is we see. So we see the result, and then it paints a picture of something that's related to the trauma, and now you're thinking the trauma. And now because you're thinking it, you create this cycle. You're creating this loop. And so what we want to do for anything, regardless of what it is, it doesn't matter if it's trauma or if it's another person or if it's an idea, a situation, a circumstance, a result in your life. Doesn't matter what it is. Anytime we want to stop letting the outside run us, the first thing we have to do is take control of our mind, because what we're feeling is because of what's coming in here in our thinking mind. So in this case, when the things are trying to come into your mind, what you want to do is you want to reject. You want to say, nope, I understand that's there, but I don't have to internalize it. I don't have to get emotionally involved with it. And then you start asking yourself, what would I rather have? In this case, you start saying, all right, I would rather have the opposite. So you start using your imagination to create the opposite. You start seeing yourself. In this case, let's say you're being reminded of something on the outside reminded you of your past trauma and it was negative. Well, what you want to do is you want to take that and you can ask yourself, yeah, I know that's there, but I don't have to accept that. Instead, let me look for what's good in it. Let me use my mind, exercise it to find the good in that situation. What you're going to do is you're not just creating a positive picture in here. What you're doing is you're creating a positive picture in your subconscious mind, in your long-term memory that is opposite to the trauma. And what's happening is now you are actually also starting to change the perspective of the trauma that you felt in the past through your memory and through your imagination. And so what you want to do is you want to keep holding on to that idea through repetition. Spend some time every single day, throughout the day with your eyes open. Just start seeing the world from that idea. okay? Whatever it is that you went through, just find opposite. Why are you grateful for that? How can you help other people because of what happened to you? And what are all the lessons that you learned from that situation? There's always good in everything. And it's up to us to find the good in everything. And when we start focusing on the good, when we start finding the good, what's gonna happen is we're gonna start building the good within us. And guess what happens? You're gonna feel good in your mind, you're gonna feel good in your body, you're gonna feel good in your actions, and your results are just gonna keep going up and up and up. And that whole situation of what happened to your past, no longer a problem anymore. Why? Because you've built a bigger idea and you reevaluated that old trauma and you found the good in it. You found why it benefited you, how it made you grow, and how you are a much better person and how you're gonna help more people. That's how you overcome trauma holding you back, by not giving it attention, by finding the good and by holding on to it. And whenever the negative tries to come, whenever an idea tries to come or a situation that reminds you of that, don't accept it, don't internalize it. Let it go and create what you would rather have in your imagination. And over time, it'll sink in to your subconscious and then you will overcome it and it won't be holding you back anymore. So I hope that helps and try it. Anything less than 30 days without effort, you're really wasting your time. It takes time. Everything is a spiritual seed. And in order to get your fruit from your seed, it takes time. If this made sense to you and you want help with your situation, I'd love to help. Click the link below to book your free call and we'll find out what's holding you back. I'm Jose with True Thought and I'll see you on the next one.